buddy. I'm not even going to comment on that spot because that's embarrassing. I'm just going to riff on something. I don't know. Last I checked, we don't have permission slips. I'm going to bring this up. We'll get to Dan Campbell at 3 because he's all in the news and it's interesting. But Rico, allow me to say this, and then I'm sure you're going to tear it apart because you are the college football recruiting guru. But I read something today, and I literally look like Winnebago Man when he becomes so exasperated and he's just like, accoutrement, what the F is that? So it's been reported everywhere now, and this was on 97.1, I believe, down in either Columbus or Cincinnati. But the editor of one of the biggest Ohio State sites on the 24/7 network said something, and I had to take a double take. I mean, I was just like, wait, what? Regarding NIL, this is from Dave Biddle. Ohio State missed out on a 5-star recruit because they couldn't pay even half of what he was asking. They offered $750K, and that wasn't even half of what was being asked. Goes on to say, and Kenny, this isn't a shot at you. Please don't take it that way. This is a quote. Georgia offered a kid $1.8 million to sign and $800,000 a season. OSU couldn't get north of $500,000. And I sat here and I said, well, first of all, I said FML because I'm sitting here as a Spartan. Look, as a Wolverine, you're at the top of the charts. You're the musical artist who's just released the hottest single in America. This album's going platinum. Mm-hmm. Now, what happens beyond this, I can't tell you. Your career could go the way of Sierra, the way it's starting to look. So Michigan's 24-2 the last 2 years. Back-to-back Big Ten champs, back-to-back playoffs, and a legitimate contender for the title. And you're not recruiting anywhere near where you should. You're not in the top 20. You don't have a top 100 player. You only got 2 in the top 250. Period. It's unacceptable if you want to keep this going. For Michigan State, I mean, the recruiting class is like 10 kids total.
11.
Whatever. And like 7 of them are pretty good. But Michigan State continues to get blown out of the water by 2 schools. Oregon and Miami. Just can't do it. The bag is powerful. It seems like 2 things are undefeated in this world, and I can only say one of them on the air. So the bag is killing them. So here's my question. If Ohio State is not even playing a deluxe game of just the tip, and they are just getting launched out of a cannon, what the F are any of us supposed to do?
So you can't say the other thing that's undefeated, but a deluxe game of just a tip.
Sure. That lends something to the imagination. I didn't specify. I'm making a point that OSU has been the standard. And we've talked about Michigan has flipped this rivalry. They have taken control of this conference. But you know what I know. Right. Michigan's not going to operate the way these other schools are. They're not. Now, their NIL money is about retention.
Right.
Hey, Blake Corum, you're good. We're going to make you happy.
Right.
Hey, JJ, we're going to make you happy.
Right. If you got to decide between leaving after your junior year and senior year, you look at Hunter Dickinson. Hunter, you want the NBA,
what do you need?
Or we can keep you here for this month.
You're going to make more here than you will in Estonia,
right?
Which is your only future. Michigan State, yeah, they've got the NIL set up for kids, but it's a lot like Michigan. Come here, prove your worth. Right. We got a lot of cool stuff for you.
Right, because as I said before, once you start paying kids, you can't stop.
Right. So
you got to keep it going.
Paid a kid $1.8 million to sign and $800K a year.
See.
And Ohio State's getting blown out of the water.
And I think Ohio State is kind of half wet. You don't know what's going to be the sustainable formula. So you want to do something, but I don't want to go all in because, as I said, as of yesterday, there's now 20 Texas A&M players.
21.
Another one today. You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding. The kid's name is like Moochie Paste or something. I don't know what the hell his name is, but he's in the portal.
Redshirt freshman, 21.
21.
That's a quarter of your team.
And again,
that's your future. Those are the people that you're investing in. So if you're Ohio State, you're like, hey, look, we got money, but we're not breaking the bank over you.
And I mean what I say. Guys, and do me a favor. If you're going to be all like whamby-pamby about it, listen to a different show. This isn't a shot at you. But I got bad news for you. You're not going to keep winning the Big Ten at this rate. If the going rate to get elite top 100 and top 250 players is what I just read you, you're not going to stay there. Or you know what you'll turn into? You'll turn into a party favor on the national level, like you did last year in the playoff, or like MSU looked like in 15. You might get there, and then you get murdered.
Yeah.
So if Ohio State can't compete with the Habs right now, Michigan and Michigan State, like I said, we don't. What are we doing? How do you build a team? Harbaugh's got the right team together. Tight-knit group, lots of player development. But guys, you know what I know. Getting there is one thing. Staying there is another.
That's where it gets difficult. Yeah.
So I'm just making a point, and this was on air at 97.1 down in Cbus, I believe, and Dave Biddle, who runs, I think it's called Bucknuts, the 24/7 network. Ohio State can't get within $1 million of these programs. And again, Miami is writing checks. Guy named John Ruiz is spearheading it. Oregon, Phil Knight's awoken from his coma. He's doing sit-downs.
I was about to say he had a sit-down with a recruit.
Right. A kid who you thought was coming to state.
Yeah.
Gone. And you're seeing this Wild West routine. So look, I get it. You're in the playoff. You're putting your fingers in your ears going, la, 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 la. Guys, this is a real issue. It's an issue moving forward.
I was about to say it requires foresight. It requires you actually looking into the future because it's right now. It's like the thing that I did with cookies where it was like, oh, people were more concerned about the playoffs, the draft, who cares? Like, okay, but you can focus on both things. And I do think that it's going to come down to you got to really be able to develop players early, get them to playing, because even if you get player X and you sign them for $1 million, Mike, I didn't play enough. I didn't catch enough touchdowns. I didn't rush enough. I didn't do this. Or
it feels like State's going through that right now.
Right.
I'm not going to name the player because that's not fair, but it sure, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck.
And this is the thing that, I've told people. If I was a college coach, there's no way in the world I will recruit a quarterback.
Doug Karsh just left the studio, the voice of Michigan athletics. And Doug said, quote, I don't know how you build a football team currently in college football.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong, people.
Because if you recruit a quarterback and you go out there and you pay this quarterback $1.5 million to come to your school, he's a true freshman.
What are you going to do?
Do you think he's trying to sit around and wait? No. He's not trying to go through the process. Oh, I didn't play. I'm Quinn Ewers.
Right.
I'm leaving. I'm going to Texas.
Let me throw the number out. Because, guys, I got to be honest with you. We're going to do we've done a hell of a lot of Lions. We're going to continue to do it. You know what I want to do? I want to offer you something different. I want to offer you something interesting. And I don't want to use my podcast to do it. So if you wouldn't mind, if it wouldn't be too much of a burden on your balls, if you could participate, that would be my Christmas present. I would really appreciate that, okay? I don't need to unwrap anything. But I'd like to have a conversation because it's awesome what Michigan's doing, but I'm telling you it's going to end quick. And Michigan State will never get back to anything of relevance if this is what's happening. If Ohio State can't get within $1 million of elite players.
You know what it boils down to? You're going to have to strike on those diamonds in the rough. The Mike Harts, the kid that didn't come in highly known but took off. Connor Cook, another guy. All of a sudden his career just skyrocketed. That's how you're going to have to do it if you're those schools, because you're not going to get that kid coming in.
Michigan, look, I get the Mike Hart thing. It's a great story. I know he came out to state, dropped his tape off on the way home in Ann Arbor. The rest is history. I get it. But Michigan is now, and will forever be built on elite players. Like, you're not getting the next Jabril Peppers. You're not getting the next Rashawn Gary. You're not getting the next JJ. Thank God you got JJ a couple of years ago, because if JJ were in the marketplace right now as a high school senior, I have bad news for you. He would be a multi-million dollar bidding war Don't kid yourself that he'd go there because he loves your engineering program. Guys, we're seeing it in real time.
I was about to say, you're seeing that locally. Yeah, where you got a quarterback that everybody wants.
And again, I admit, I'm all for player empowerment and player movement. But this is like taking children bumper bowling, and then they inform you there will be no bumpers. It all ends up in the gutter. And I'll say it to you again if you're joining the show. This is per one of the guys closest to Ohio State recruiting. Ohio State missed out on a 5-star because they couldn't pay even half what another school paid him. And they offered $750,000. Right. And then you get a report that Georgia paid a kid $1.8 million to sign. Signing bonus, $1.8 million. And the contract is $800K a year. Mm-hmm. You're not in the top 20 in recruiting when you should be in the top 5. And it kills me to say it, but guys, you're really good. You don't have any top 100 players. You got 2 in the top 250. That's not Michigan at its apex. And Michigan State.
That's not Michigan off of 2 playoff appearances.
No, God, no. They should be recruiting like a machine.
You should have at least a top 5 class overall.
And Michigan State, it's like, yeah, they're in line to have the best class they've ever had, but one problem. They've seemingly led for so many kids that you tell me, and then what happens? Oregon, bag. Miami, bag. What are we doing? And apparently, and I'm not saying the kid, I don't want to slander anybody, there might be a situation where a kid feels like he can get a better NIL deal than staying in school, and he might just up and leave. And you're like, what? You just got here. You played. Next year, you might be a starter.
Well, give me a better deal.
Right. For what?
Go give me a better deal.
So I'm just asking the question, guys. What are any of us doing here?
Well, see, I think, as we've seen, I think Tucker's way around the NIL is the portal.
Yeah, but you know
I'm going to hit the portal, and I'm going to wait for you to go to whatever school and realize you cash that check. And once you realize you don't like it there, I'm going to keep my card, keep my number, and when things go south next year, give me a call.
All right. Well, for every K9, there's about 10 Chester Kimbroughs.
Yes, I
so
understand.
It is a dangerous way to do it, but fine.
But that's also recruiting, though, Mike, because you could pay this kid that you paid $1.8 million could go and become Monty Medeiros.
I don't want to pay.
No, I'm saying you thought that he was going to be this guy, and like I said, he ends up being Monty Medeiros. Remember him? Nobody else does.
No, I do. I do. Shout out Jawan Caesar. Shout out Fred Lee. We got them all. Who's got a Bobo Brown memory? 248-539-9797.